Yeah, Deborah, Gerald, it's been about 25 years since I've skated in any meaningful capacity, and what a time to get back out on the ice. Then there's their beach yoga pose. I still don't know how Bill pulled that one off. And then it ends here with the infamous CBS interview.
We're ready to talk about, Rod Brindamore's job, Eric Tolsky's job, the whole entire blueprint. We're taking those. We're ripping up that rundown because we got a new one here, fellas. We've got a series again.
I mean, I just went through the entire transcript of his press conference just to kind of pull out something, because it felt like the same answer over and over again. If there was one specific area where he did at least acknowledge they could have done better, it was in recruiting and in the transfer portal.
Meanwhile, Florida State's like, we're back. No, you're not.
Another upset in the ACC.
It's crazy.
I mean,
crazy.
Billy Napier could have been fired, I think, a year ago. Meanwhile, Dan Mullen's out there at UNLV. He's like, hi. I'm going to go back to a big-time school. Like, it's ridiculous.
He came in marketing this as the 33rd NFL team, trying to turn North Carolina into a, quote, professional-style organization. But where I think that's backfired is just kind of like the human elements. Really, to me, this story is the little things becoming big.
Shane, I want to start with you. It's one thing to win at home. It's one thing to win on the road early in the series. But to win up 3-1, close out the Caps when they gave their A game, what does that say about Carolina's chances to not only win the Eastern Conference Final, but win the Stanley Cup?
Whew. Hold on. Just let me catch my breath for a second. I am completely exhausted from following Bill Belichick around everywhere since 9 a.m. UNC wanted to raise their football profile by hiring him. Ask and you shall receive. Well, let's talk about that. Manny being Manny is something that everybody loved. People just fell in love with your personality.
Throw is open, so he's heading on in.
That time that you went into the Green Monster, what were you doing?
How do I look?
Good.
Do I look cool?
Yeah.
Do I look like a golfer?
Oh, yeah.
How NC State is this? I mean, end of the game, Chris, I'm
Yes.
looking into the stands. There's a little kid with a sign that says 6'7". Nobody does it better than Dave Doran. I don't think that little kid, now funny joke, I don't think that little kid knew that his team was going to beat the number 8 team in the country tonight.
Is Bill Belichick coaching North Carolina against Cal a week from Saturday?
I can't tell you. I just know that this is escalated day by day, and I would say hour by hour. To be quite literally, Dan, minute by minute. I'll tell you this morning, I sent an email to UNC Athletics trying to get confirmation of a player to see if he was still with the program. An hour later, the player I asked about has a graphic ready to go on social media. This just broke from running back Caleb Hood. After much thought, prayer, and discussion with my family, I've decided to retire from football. My journey at UNC has been special, and I appreciate my time here. You can look on social media if you want to see that full statement. That is the player I asked about because of a tip that I got there. Ironic in a way, Dan, because this season, if you remember that first game versus TCU, there was that one moment where everyone, all the hype, all the buzz, which was so real, right? This was incredible. Carolina drives down their first possession of the season. Caleb Hood scores the touchdown. The place goes bonkers. Skip Bayless had some tweet about it being amazing. I know. I was like, this guy's Nick Saban. I'm like, he's going to do it. They're doing it, And it has been downhill ever since. And it's fitting poetry that I think now Caleb Hood, after this week, is leaving the program. And obviously, I'm going to look into more as to why. But I think just kind of that paints a picture for you where we're at. Abby Lampe is on a roll.
My friends are going to be like, what did you do today? I'm like, I rolled down a lot of hills.
The former NC State student is the 2-time women's Cooper's Hill cheese rolling and wake champion.
My regard for my life is very little.
That's right. She's the best in the world at chasing cheese. How's that feel?
I'm a little dizzy.
She discovered the annual competition on YouTube and decided to make Gloucester, England a stop on a trip to Europe.
This is a double Gloucester wheel. It is about 8 pounds, 3.6 kilograms. It rolls down the hill at speeds of 70 miles per hour.
At Dorothea Dix Park in Raleigh, she put her engineering degree to use.
So 2 years ago, I practiced forward rolls and tumble rolls.
But nothing can really prepare you for this.
The first time I went down, I realized I was going sideways down the hill when the tree line started to shift. This year, I was bouncing a lot on the hill. So I was getting a lot of airtime, and people came up to me after, they're like, you got up 1.5 meters. I was like, I felt like I bounced a lot.
Victory never tasted so dry-aged.
It's very pungent. You have to have it with other things like jam, spreads. Well, Pat, it's your turn now.
Abby, my wife is 9 months pregnant, and I promised her I could not go to the hospital before her.
But it's gonna be a good time.
All right, let's get cheesy. Oh my God. I'm going sideways. Woo! That Welter. Woo! WRAL Sports. All right, that's a little bit too much dairy. Yeah, I'm here, and there's no culture, no organization. It is a complete disaster. Those are the kind of quotes I'm getting from sources with firsthand knowledge of the inner workings of Bill Belichick's football program. So we talked to players, parents, members of the coaching staff, the board of trustees, and the athletic department to try to paint a complete picture of what's going on behind the scenes here. According to sources, a divide formed naturally when Belichick was hired. Mac Brown players versus the transfers. The way Belichick has run the program hasn't bridged the gap. It's only made it grow. According to multiple sources, UNC has a divided locker room, a disorganized staff, and an overall failure to communicate. A divide is natural when you have Mac Brown-era players and the 70 new ones Belichick brought in. But according to sources, preferential treatment and a lack of leadership has added to the discontent. One source said they don't fault the players. They fault the leadership that created this toxic environment. There's an individualistic mindset. Here are the example sources shared with us. Some players and their parents have better parking and stadium access on game days. Players who miss class and meetings aren't being held accountable. Players are selling their spare game tickets rather than sharing them with teammates. The non-travel roster players don't get to dress for home games, something you might see from an NFL practice player, but not in college football, adding to an overall lack of unity within the team. Parents say they have zero communication with coaches and were asked not to approach Bill Belichick, a stark contrast from the open-door approach of Mac Brown. One source said the lack of experience the coaches have is ridiculous. Belichick himself has been praised by multiple sources for his one-on-one coaching. It's his ability to run the program that's being questioned by parents and players. One source said, Bill shuts people out. He's limited in what he says. Chancellor Lee Roberts preached patience when discussing Belichick at a Board of Trustees meeting last week. Even after the Clemson loss, the feeling within the UNC athletic department remains the same. Given the investment they've made, patience is the path, but they also understand that they hired Belichick knowing he didn't have college experience. They would like to help support Belichick and the players. Belichick needs to be willing to receive it at the same time. Overall, the feeling from sources is that the little points of division have become big, and you're seeing it now on the field. Now, you don't need anonymous sources to tell you there's no energy, very little communication on the sidelines. You can see it with your own eyes. We've reached out to Belichick's PR staff. They chose not to comment.